Alright. Almost got the pit down deep now, finally.
It's completed! I've made an amazing artifact!
Oh good, the furniture in the tavern is finally starting to go in. Kind of need to get out in front of our need for boxes so we can get the library finished. And the first of our crafters finally kicked off. First the guy's caught in the landslide. Lackenfer, you're probably next. I just want you to know. Those injuries do not look good. Can't get anybody to do the actual suturing, though. no thread, you see. Well, you haven't kicked off yet. You're still hanging in there. Maybe we'll get somebody over there to suture you and you'll get better. Who knows? Well, apparently I was worrying too much because you were sitting right there and you ain't sitting there no more, and I didn't hear a death message. So it does sound like you survived. Congratulations. You're still among the living. You have survived dwarven mining operations. And just between you and me, that is saying something. Mr. I got half his body parts smashed, on the other hand, he's not so lucky. He did not make it. Huh, somehow we missed one stripe right there. After I went back and designated it all, we missed this one piece. Sticking out in the middle of the thin air, out in the middle of our pit. Oh well. Moving on. Well, technically, we still need to worry about burying that guy. We haven't done it yet. Yeah, still up in the tree. So let's go rescue our corpse, I guess. Why not? Why are we still making wood weapons? So while crossbows is at most 15, holy hell, look at this. We've got 30 some crossbows in inventory. You can't tell me we possibly ever dipped below 10. Hell, there's the whole set there too. There's 28 more. There's 28 highwood crossbows there too, so that's another 50 crossbows. Jesus, what the hell is wrong with this order? Screw it, we're getting rid of it. We don't need it. We got more crossbows we know what to do with for the moment. So we've got some gold bars. Let's get a work order together to smelt us some more gold, and then and so we'll make all the materials necessary to make 5 wells completely out of gold. Chains, buckets, mechanisms, and blocks, all out of gold. think that'll have enough bedrooms for everyone now, hopefully.
Winter is here.
Wow, did you see what I did with this? I'm gonna hang on to this.
Well, you've missed a bit of it already because we've already got a temple set up and part of our library is already in place. We don't have the tavern up just yet, but that's next. And these actually aren't tiny. Dwarves don't really need big rooms. This is a chest to store stuff in, a cabinet to store stuff in, a bed to sleep on. That's all a dwarf really needs. Once the walls are smoothed and engraved, these quarters are actually going to be quite valuable. Not as valuable as our noble quarters, but valuable enough. Somehow I got my stone stockpile set as links only. No wonder we're not stocking any stone. Now we'll see some right proper action on that front. No wonder our furniture's taking so long. Duh! Oh! But why are we never getting any stone in here? Everybody's just begging for more. My wheelbarrows aren't even moving. Errant key press here, errant key press there, and suddenly stuff stops breaking down. You've got to be able to look at it and figure out why it's not working. Alright, we caught an osprey. Now we get to decide whether we want to have osprey or not. Predatory birds? Uh-oh, somebody donated. Did they want a dwarf? Did they donate enough for a dwarf? And thank you for your generous donation, Sophia. I know the kids at Riley Hospital will appreciate it. Our military hammer dwarves are now into their double digits pretty much across the board. They're getting mean. Well, since you're the first person that donated in a while, I made you the leader of the Marks Dwarf squad. Okay, so the tavern is going in, that's nice, but let's start working on something a little more advanced. Let's go downstairs to the forge for a moment and go up from there a bit. Looks like right there is the bottom. So, okay, let's try to do something a little more creative. Alright, so our next logistics trick is to get a water flow to this area right here. Because what we're going to build now is an obsidian caster. We're going to build ourselves an obsidian farm. Basically, we'll pump lava into a tray. We'll fill a tray above that full of water, and then we'll retract the floor of the upper tray, and we'll drop the water into the lava and obsidianize the whole thing. Once it's had a moment, we'll put a little more water over the top of it to cool it, and then once it's had a second to cool, we'll go back through, strip it all out, mine it all down to nothing, and reset the obsidian caster at that point. We can basically crank out obsidian rock for use in our constructions. What I'd really like to do is build a nice obsidian tower on the surface from our obsidian caster, and that way we'll have a purpose not just for this obsidian caster, but also something that we can go back maybe look at in Armok Vision or Stone Sense and see a 3D tower that we put together at the end of the stream. So let's see about getting ourselves a water channel down into the basement here. We're probably going to have to get a little creative in terms of how we route things, because this isn't going to be the most straightforward place to drop water through. Now, just in case, remember, we want to make sure we have a pressure regulator in place to deal with water pressure. In fact, I want to back that up with square so I can do one more thing. We're going to install a floodgate here that will allow us to cut off the water flow into this area if we need to. Okay, and now we'll be able to dig our water channel down to the basement so we can build the obsidian caster. You want to be cautious about allowing your dwarves directly in as soon as the obsidian is created. It can still be hot. It doesn't hurt to refill it with a little water, and what we're going to do is basically I'm going to create a little drain-off area so that it'll spread the water out and drain it off. The water will drop straight into the obsidian, so we won't have to worry about that. But then if we sprinkle a little bit more over it, we want to be careful that we are not putting too much in. We want to have it dry up. I've seen cases where I've run an obsidian caster, and if you let the dwarves in too early, they start bleeding because their feet are melting, basically. If this all works according to plan, we won't breach any free caverns on the way down. It'll all bank out at just the right moments. We've had indoor fishing for a while. You're quite a bit late to the game on that one. Our indoor fishing shed is over here. And since our river freezes, actually it's not working as well as we'd hoped because our grate keeps getting destroyed here. Really kind of obnoxious. So we're probably going to have to do something about that. What we'll do is we'll have to build up an area above the river here and put the grate over the top of that. I'm not sure they can actually fish through that, so that may not work. Well, we may have to stall our masons out and get them to work on this, because I need those archery targets up. Nothing ran off with a nest box. That was probably the dwarf with a wheelbarrow you saw running around there. Baron Consort of Braided Hammers. So the Baron Consort just is coming to pay us a visit now. Alright guys, so what I'm doing here is I'm setting up Auto Butcher. And Auto Butcher is a handy DF hack tool that is effectively workflow for your animal population. This will allow us to control our animal population, keep it under control, and keep it from growing out unchecked, basically. We'll set it up so that we'll limit the number of males and females of every given species that we're going to raise, and that it will automatically butcher any new ones that arrive. Now, it won't touch pets. I don't believe you can make it touch pets even if you wanted to, but it won't butcher somebody's pets by accident. But it will cut down on your livestock if there are pets of a similar race, for example. So if I have 5 male ducks and one of the male ducks happens to be somebody's pet, it counts that pet against my count. And so ideally I would have all my cavies butchered, but we have one that's a pet, so you'll notice it says 1 of 0, and the 0 is in red. It can't actually get to 0 because it can't butcher somebody's pet.